guys, how you guys doing? What I want to do in this short little video is I want to talk to you guys about the different type of policies that are available to you, okay? So, let's go ahead and get started, guys. So, there are three different types of policies that, you can do research on and you can get one of these type of policies. So, I'm going to go ahead and go in detail and explain every single one, okay? So, the first policy is going to be a term policy, and I'm going to refer to that one like a Honda or a Toyota. Okay, and you'll see why, okay? The second type of policy, we have an ROP, which is return of premium. And that one, I'm going to refer to it as a Lexus or a BMW. And then the third type of policy that we have is going to be the perm policy or the permanent policy. And that one is going to be referred to like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, okay? So, there's also life policies for children. Okay, and I want you guys to understand that if you guys have kids and you guys are interested in getting a small life insurance policy for them, they are also available, and it's great because they're very, very inexpensive. They're like $10 a month or something like that. The other thing with these type of policies is that the price doesn't increase. Okay, there's a lot of companies out there that what they do is they sell you a policy. Let's say you're 30 years old, and when you turn 35, they want to increase your policy. Instead of paying $30 a month, they want you to pay $42 or $45. And over the years, they continue to increase the policy to the point where you're just like, hey, I can no longer afford paying this policy. And then what do? You cancel it. And then all the money that you invested into that policy is pretty much wasted. Okay, but I want you guys to understand that with the companies that I personally work with, all of the prices are permanent, right? They will never increase unless, let's say, you want to increase your policy. Then, of course, there's going to be adjustments made, but our policies will never increase once you have your policy, okay? So, let's go ahead and start off with the term policy. In other words, like the Honda or the Toyota policy. So, the benefits of this policy is that they're very inexpensive. Okay, super cheap. The negative thing about this policy is that it does expire. Okay, let's say after 30 years, once your policy is over, then of course it's going to expire. All the money that you invested into that policy is going to be pretty much gone. Okay, but what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and share with you guys three different examples and just show you exactly how inexpensive these policies are. Okay, so for example, $100,000 for a 30-year-old female is going to be about $19 a month. Okay, the second example is the same 30-year-old female for $200,000. It's going to be about $30 a month. Okay, the last example I want to give you is $300,000 for a 30-year-old female is going to be about $35 a month. Okay, so as you guys can see, it's very, very inexpensive. Okay, $100,000, $19 a month, that's totally doable for everybody, right? When we go out to eat to any restaurant or a fast food restaurant, you're going to be spending $20 to $30 just on one sitting with you and your friends or a few of your family members. So keep this in mind, guys. I want you guys to see life insurance like an investment, right? You're investing in your future. You're investing in your family. You're investing, let's say if God forbid something was to happen to you, you want your family to be set, okay? And if anything, guys, this is going to be at least a policy that you should just get in order to be able to have a good amount of money saved up or a good amount of payout to be able to leave to your family, okay? The second policy is going to be the ROP policy, and that policy is the return of premium policy. And I want you guys to look at this like the BMW and the Lexus, right, of policies. They're like better vehicles, right? It's a way better policy. And this is why. So the number one benefit of an ROP, and I personally believe you're going to love this policy, is going to be the refund. Okay? Now, after 30 years, let's say you get this policy, right? After 30 years, if, let's say you, God forbid, you were to pass away in 25 years, your family would get $100,000 or whatever your policy is. Let's say you don't pass away in 30 years. What's going to happen? All of the money that you invested, you're going to get it back. Okay? Think about it like this. everybody has a car insurance, right? Let's say you have Allstate or Geico or Mercury, whatever insurance company you have for your vehicle. If an agent from Geico or Allstate was to call you and be like, hey, we just have a new policy that we're starting to offer to people, and it goes like this. In 5 years, if you're involved in a crash, we're going to take care of that crash. Okay, no questions asked. In 5 years, if you are not involved in a crash, all of the money that you gave us, we're going to give it back to you. My question is, would you sign up for that policy? I guarantee you would, right? 100% of the people would be like, yeah, if I don't use an insurance, if I don't use something, I want to get my money back, right? And of course, if you do have to use it, hey, that's why the insurance is there. It's to protect you, okay? So the bad thing about the ROP policy is that it does expire as well, right? After 30 years, it is going to expire, but of course, keep in mind that you're going to be able to get all of that money back. And you're gonna, of course, if you don't use it, you're gonna get all that money back. So I want to give you guys as well a few examples of how the numbers work for an ROP policy. And the other thing I want you guys to keep in mind is with each one of these policies, you guys can always, let me know and we'll move the numbers around. Let's say you want an ROP policy for $150,000 or $500,000, whatever coverage you want, we can always adjust those numbers. Okay, so these are just examples. So example number one is going to be $100,000 for a 30-year-old female. It's going to be about $45 a month. Okay, now here is the crazy part. You guys see right here where I put refund? $16,000. After 30 years, you're going to get back about $16,000. Okay? So how cool is that? Really think about an ROP like a savings account because you're going to get all of that money back. Okay? The second example I want to give you guys is $200,000 policy for a 30-year-old female. It's going to be about $84 a month. Now the refund is going to be what? About $30,000. Okay? $30,000. The last policy or the last example I want to give you guys is a $300,000 policy for a 30-year-old female. Is going to be about $121 a month. Okay, and again, the refund is going to be about $44,000. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. Like that is just, I don't know. For me, I like this policy. Most of the people that I talk to, they love this policy because you will get all of your money back. Okay, think of it like literally like a savings account. All you're doing is putting money away, and in 30 years, you're going to get all of that money back. Let's say, God forbid, you pass away in 20 years or 25 years. It's okay because your family is going to get all of that money that, what your policy is worth. If it's $100,000, $200,000, or $300,000. Okay, is it all making sense? Perfect. So let's move on to the term policy. Okay, now I want you guys to look at this like the Lamborghini or the Ferrari of policies, right? This is like the best policy. I personally have this policy and I love it because of the benefits, okay? So number one is living benefits. So remember that the ROP and the term policy, they expire, okay? After 30 years, those policies are going to expire. Now, a permanent policy is not going to expire, okay? You're going to have this policy for the rest of your life, which is awesome. Right? The second benefit is living benefits. So let's say, for example, like you get a terminal illness. Let's say you get cancer or a crazy illness. With the term policy, what you can do is you can actually tap into your policy while you're still alive. Okay? You could tap into about 40 to 50% of the policy that you have in place. You can be getting money out of that to help you with your living expenses. Right? Let's say you're 60 or 70 years old and you get cancer or something happens like a terminal illness. You can tap into your permanent policy and be able to be able to get money out of it while you're still alive. So that is a great benefit of a permanent policy. Right? The last thing that is awesome about a permanent policy is cash value. Okay? So you're going to be accumulating cash value tax-free. So after 20 years, let's say you accumulated $20,000 or let's say $15,000 to $20,000. You're going to be able to go in there, get that money tax-free because of the compound interest that happened during those 20 years, during those 30 years. You guys see that? So that's powerful. Another great concept of life insurance, and another great benefit that a lot of people don't think about, because they think life insurance is just, you pay for it, and then, if you pass away, then that's it. But nowadays, there's a lot more benefits to it, okay? So, now I'm going to give you guys a few examples of the permanent policy. Now, this one is a little bit different because this one we work with people's budget, okay? So let's say you have a budget of $80 a month. Now, you're going to be covered for $108,000. Let's say it's a 30-year-old female, okay? Let's say your budget is $120 a month, okay? For a 30-year-old female, you're going to be covered $166,000, okay? And last one, let's say you have a budget of $145 a month. Your coverage is going to be about $203,000. Okay, you guys see that? So again, all of these numbers, just keep in mind we can always mix them and match them according to your needs, according to the amount of coverage that you want, and according to, of course, your budget, right? I'm not going to tell you, hey, you need a $300 a month policy. No. My biggest goal and my biggest intention is to help people and protect people. So regardless if your budget is $30 a month or $300 a month, right? It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, if you're covered and you're protected, then that means your family is protected. That means, everybody else is protected in your family if something was to happen to you, okay? So, now I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about children's policies, right? Now, with children, you can get a permanent policy, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys, of course, the benefits of it. Number one, it's going to be very, 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 very inexpensive, right? It's super, super cheap. The other thing is that this policy is a permanent policy, so it will not increase and it will not expire, okay? I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you have a 10-year-old son or a 10-year-old daughter. Once your daughter or your son turns 18, it doesn't matter. Just continue. They will still be protected, right? They'll be protected till they're 20, 30, 40. If you never cancel this policy, they can be protected with that amount, with that small amount of, let's say, $10, $20, or $15. They're going to be protected. They can be protected the rest of their life, right? Let's say at age 20, they're like, hey, I want a bigger policy. I want a $100,000 policy or a $250,000 policy. Then, of course, we'll cancel this one and then we'll get them another policy. But I want you guys to keep in mind that this is a permanent policy and it will never expire, okay? Regardless if, once your child turns 18, just continue on with the policy and they'll still be protected, okay? So I'm going to give you guys a few examples. For $25,000 for a 5-year-old, it's $10 a month, okay? For a 10-year-old, same thing, $25,000 is about $12 a month, okay? And the last one, for a 15-year-old, $25,000 is about $15 a month, okay? So you guys see how it's very, very inexpensive. It's a great thing just to be protected, okay? And I want you guys to just keep that in mind. Why not protect all of your family, right? Because you never know, accidents happen. One thing that I always like to tell people is, hey, it doesn't matter that, if there's a 20-year-old and an 80-year-old, right? Accidents happen, life happens, and you don't want to set that burden in your family if something was to happen to you. You don't want them to be out there asking people and begging people for money for the funeral, or you don't have a cushion. Let's say your husband dies, right? Let's say he's the breadwinner of the family. How is the wife going to continue to make the payments of the house? How is she going to continue to clothe the kids and feed them and provide the life that they deserve if the main breadwinner is no longer there? Okay, so always keep that in mind. If you can, definitely protect everybody in your family. As you can see, there's different policies, right? It could be a term policy, it can be an ROP policy, and it could be, of course, a permanent policy. Okay, guys? So, what I want you guys to do now is I want you guys to go ahead and contact me directly. If you guys have any questions, what you can do is just send me a direct message or you can call me or text me at this phone number, right? 1-800-893-8685. And what we're going to do is once you contact me, I want to go ahead and book an appointment with you. And it'll take about 20 to 30 minutes. And once we book that appointment, I'll run the numbers, whatever policy you're interested. You could just let me know, hey, Jose, I'm interested in a Lexus policy, right? An ROP or a permanent or a term policy. And then from there, I'll ask you for your age, and then I'll just run the numbers. If you need me to adjust the numbers, we'll do that. Like I said, my biggest thing is working within your budget. And at the end of the day, I want to help you. I want to protect you and your family in case something bad was going to happen. Okay, guys? So thank you guys so much. I'm super excited to be able to serve you and help you. And I really look forward to assisting you in getting your own life insurance policy. Like I said, if you have any questions at all, please just let me know. I hope that this video was valuable and you gained a few ideas and you gained more knowledge about how life insurance policies work. Okay? Have an awesome day, guys, and I will see you guys later. Thank you.